The different perspectives of what FIFA is today have been controversial for the world of football and its fans. The moves, passes, or goals remain the same from a few years ago. However, players' ideologies, exaggerated marketing, management corruption, and violence have changed but have also substantially increased. These new perspectives have shown a kind of systematic violence, referring to any practice or institutional procedure to produce an adverse effect on individuals and impose one mental, cultural, spiritual, economic, or physical, psychological burden. The systematic violence affects members of FIFA, fans, footballers, and outsiders. However, it does not cause the same damage to all alike, with emerging new conflicts such as racism, inequality, vanity, false advertising, corruption, and doping. Violence in games. Since time immemorial, there have been cases in which the rivalry or loss of composure of players in football have triggered aggressive reactions, whether physical or verbal, which leave behind a clean and soiled image of the game. An athletic high performance showing no masks to the public, including children who are owed the message of fair play. It is very common to join you in classic events where the rivalry game is under pressure from all sides by the directives, sponsorships, and even the fans. A well-known case is that of Zinedine Zidane, which in the middle of the final of the 2006 Germany World Cup had a fit of rage, hitting Marco Materazzi, an Italian player, in the chest with his head. Zidane was then shown a red card and France lost the final on penalties. Another prominent case is that of one of the current stars of Barcelona, Luis Suarez, bit an Italian player, Giorgio Chiellini's shoulder for no reason. For this he was banned 4 months and for 9 competitive international matches. The fans have been involved with physical aggression, carried away by the euphoria of the game and the strength in the rivalry by both teams. They have triggered problems in which children are involved and even deaths resulting from the inability to control the violent outbursts within the thousands of fans. Sporting events are not so focused on the controversy and uncertainty of who is a champion playing as a team today. Focus full attention to the most outstanding players, making allegory and full attention to what sells through brands like Nike, Adidas, Pumas, or simple products such as Heineken, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Corona that keep viewers inside the consumer's bubble, generating huge profits from firms and FIFA. Perversion by FIFA has gone beyond what the passion for the sport is. FIFA is an organization that restricts or regulates leagues and imposes conditions amounts to. The imposition of commercials and advertisements has become auditory and a visual pollution, and it's not necessary for the sustainability compared to some decades ago, and that alone generates too much money. The reputations of many players have been threatened by the use of banned substances such as a metabolic accelerator to improve performance in the game. FIFA punishes any use of these substances. A very controversial case is that of Argentine star Diego Maradona, who has had consistent drug and weight problems throughout his life. The first coming up in 1991, where he was given a 15-month ban after failing a drug test for cocaine. At 34, he was still Argentina's greatest hope at the 1994 World Cup, and he scored against Greece in the group stages. However, he appeared to be on something during his goal celebration, and after a random drug test, he tested positive for the stimulant ephedrine and sent home disgraced. He did not overcome his cocaine addiction until 2005. High-performance athletes have lost control of themselves at various times, and in these cases, it is very common for black players to be the victims of verbal attacks in which human rights are not respected. Not just a public apology or a press conference for the damage to be eradicated, just do it by the pressure of directives or the same FIFA to reduce the advertising impact that football triggers. A very recent case is that of the same Luis Suarez, after a history in which the Uruguayan was contentious of black players. This case was stronger at the beginning of a match between Liverpool and Manchester United. Suarez refused to show diplomacy and shake hands with a black player, Patrice Evra. On the other hand, Suarez was justified by saying it was a misunderstanding and given no ban. FIFA has campaigned against the active racism, but sometimes they ignore the rules against racism they have created, such as when Barcelona player Sergio Busquets made racist comments against Real Madrid's Marcelo during a match, and UEFA decided not to charge him with anything, therefore allowing him to play in the Champions League final. There have also been instances of bigotry and against certain religions, such as this quote by FIFA senior. There have been reports that the votes for the 2022 World Cup to be in Qatar were bought, adding to the corrupt system. There have also been controversies because of the weather in Qatar during the summer when the World Cup would take place. The average temperature is 40 to 45 degrees Celsius, in which football cannot be played. FIFA has suggested moving it to the winter, but this causes a huge problem for all domestic leagues since they don't have a big winter break and the matches will have to be moved and postponed, giving the players fewer vacation days and rest, which could lead to future injuries. Since in Qatar, FIFA and football is not so popular yet, there is a huge lack of stadiums and entire cities need to be built. It will cost Qatar around 20 billion to host the World Cup. The workers building the stadiums accuse their employees of withholding pay, forcing them to work in heat without water, making them live in squalid camps, and confiscating their passports to keep them from leaving the country. From June to August, at least 44 Nepalese died in Qatar from work in construction. The Guardian reports, and a 2014 report by the International Trade Union Confederation estimates that around 1,200 workers died in the early years of the preparation for the World Cup in Qatar. Such was the situation in the World Cup 2014 in Brazil, which led to strikes and protests across the country due to the widespread public anger over the $11 billion spent on stadiums and infrastructure, adding to the list of controversies to FIFA and its president Sepp Blatter, with the warning of the International Trade Union Confederation that 4,000 workers could die before a ball is kicked in the year 22 if nothing is done to protect the rights of workers. Recently, there were released compelling documents that officials of FIFA in them described how money funds to personal accounts of these in exchange for some favors like fixing the players' conditions were diverted is involved. FIFA has been embroiled in the biggest corruption case in its history, as its annual meeting in 2015 was disrupted by an attack in the morning of the headquarters hotel, a separate headquarters raid, and the arrest of a number of officials and representatives of the sports industry. 9 officers were arrested in connection with a year-long investigation by federal authorities in the U.S., with 7 detainees in a 5-star hotel in Zurich. Swiss officials also said they wanted to question 10 of the FIFA Executive Committee members on the awards of the 2018 and 2022 World Cups to Russia and Qatar. Chuck Blazer, a U.S. executive who has had issues with tax evasion and money laundering and wire fraud, and has spent so much on clothes and fine dining that he needed a fleet of mobility scooters to move him from feast to feast. In 2006, he faced court on behalf of FIFA when MasterCard alleged deception in a sponsorship deal. The judge ruled Blazer was generally without credibility and had fabricated his test. FIFA paid $90 million to settle. Blatter called the remarks very biased and promoted Blazer to head of marketing. Jeffrey Webb. He was arrested after a month after hosting Blatter at his Confederations Congress in the Bahamas. A former member of FIFA's Transparency and Compliance Committee and its Finance Committee, the Cayman Islands FA president has business links to the Captain's Bakery food chain owned by Jamaica FA head captain Horace Burrell, who spent 6 months out of the game on a bribery ban in 2013. Webb later rehired him as CONCACAF's head of compliance and integrity. Also elected at Webb's Congress in April was Costa Rica's Eduardo Lee. Dawn raided last week before he could be sworn in. The officials are accused of taking in excess of $150 million in bribes dating back to 24 years. U.S. prosecutors said that the officials conspired through systematic bribery. Be alert against corruption in football. Be alert against racism in football. Be alert against violence in football. The game of football has taken an unexpected turn and a little disappointing. No matter what happens, the new expectations will be in the air. Just continue playing for others. Make the change. Say no to violence of all kind.
Just don't forget to show